Hello, I'm Lori Steiner, sitting in for Arvin Budish. Welcome to Golden Opportunities.
Today, ready to collect Social Security? Not so fast. We'll share why timing is everything. Then, craft a memorable Mother's Day creation. Plus, we'll advance to the front lines on the battle against breast cancer. And a little-known program that's as important as Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid.
It's time to get geoing, so pull up a chair and join us at our kitchen table for Golden Opportunities. There's a jewel of an exhibit currently adorning the Manor House at Stan Hewitt Hall and Gardens, and Gail Marie Fort is here to display a few of these finer things of life. Gail Marie is the Vice President of Outreach and Communication at Stan Hewitt. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Lori.
So you've got this exhibit. It's called Finer Things, Jewelry and Accessories from the 1880s through the 1930s. Quite a mouthful. So how does this theme connect to the original owner of Stan Hewitt?
Well, F.A. Seiberling, who was the co-founder of Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, was certainly a towering figure in Akron, but his wife Gertrude was a towering figure in her own right. She was actually an artist herself. She was a patron of the arts and an activist, and also a very gracious hostess. So we decided that we would give a nod to her and celebrate the culture of that time through this exhibit.
Okay, so let's try on a few of the pieces.
Very good.
Tell us about the gems that are on display.
Well, the centerpiece of the exhibit is the presentation watch, which was given to F.A. Seiberling as a gift from his employees of the Seiberling Rubber Company, which is actually the second company that he founded. It was given to them in 1928, given to him in 1928. It has never been worn. It's still in its original box. And the grandson, Franklin Seiberling Jr., has made this loan to us for this exhibit. So it's nice to have one of the family heirlooms as a centerpiece.
Very much so. Okay, then we have now diamond jewelry.
We do. We actually have quite a number of pieces that have been loaned to us through dealers and collectors around the country. This particular piece is a star motif. It's an example of a brooch that might have been worn by Mrs. Seiberling on her wedding day.
And is that her?
That is her in the picture, and on her wedding day on October 12th, 1887. And this piece has cultured pearls and saltwater pearls, rose-cut crystal. It's really quite an exquisite piece and a great example of the era.
All right, and another one we have a navette-shaped brooch.
Exactly.
Oh, now I know what a navette means.
Now you know what the shape is. This is interesting because it's actually made of rhodium and paste. It was not uncommon for women of wealth to also wear costume jewelry in addition to fine jewelry. And it was made in an exquisite fashion, the same as fine jewelry would be, by the European artisans who were trained to actually do this.
Okay. Well, the exhibit is jewelry and accessories, so let's talk about the accessories.
We are very lucky at Stan Hewitt because we do have a lot of the family's collections, and so we'll be pulling some hat pins and purses and hats and some items of clothing to be a part of that. This piece is a lorgnette, actually. It's a pair of eyeglasses on a stem, and it was actually used very often more as a form of jewelry for fashionable ladies of the era and not so much for vision. So,
well, did they actually use them for vision, though?
They did. They would hansel a little bit, but certainly not to the extent that my glasses do today. So.
Ooh, here's a fancy hat.
This is great. This is called a cloche, also from the Stan Hewitt collection, and it has feathers and velvet, and it's an example of an item that might have been worn by Mrs. Seiberling or by one of her daughters during the era.
Okay, so all of this is what actually she might have been wearing.
That's
so
correct.
It's very fun to try to imagine that. And you've even got some finer things in nature, I understand.
We do.
There's a planted exhibit.
That's right. It's in our Corbin Conservatory, and we're going to tell the story of orangeries. Back in this era, of course, it was very uncommon to have citrus year-round like we do now, so people of means were able to build a particular structure to grow the lemons and the limes, and we're going to have some of those on display, in the oranges and even some pomegranates. We're enhancing the exhibit with beautiful flowers, lots of gardenias, and we have some beautiful art glass, too, that's really going to make the exhibit pretty outstanding. So it'll be a great sensory experience and just a delight for everyone who will come and visit us.
nose and eyes and ears and everything. So
Absolutely.
And Stan Hewitt is a beautiful place.
Thank you.
I love going there.
We're
so.
very proud of our estate and very proud of the legacy that Cyberlinks left for us to share.
Okay, well, glad to have you in.
Thank you so much.
You can experience a past life of luxury too, right now, and for mere pittance. To find out more, call Stan Hewitt at 330-315-3287 or visit www.stanhewitt.org. My thanks to Gail Marie for a fine look at the finer things.
Thank you, Lori.
Next, get the most for your money when it comes to Social Security. But first, the answer to today's question turns on a dime, because the tail we will focus on is the head of Franklin D. Roosevelt. So why is this particular president's countenance captured on a dime? We'll make sense of the reason when we return.
Good Neighbor Pharmacy locations accept your Express Scripts and TRICARE benefits. If you're an Express Scripts or TRICARE beneficiary, contact us today to transfer your prescriptions. You'll be happy you did. Find the store nearest you at goodneighborpharmacy.com.
In Cleveland, go to Church Square Pharmacy, Clark Low Cost Pharmacy, Lutheran Family Pharmacy, or Shalega Drug. For more information, go to goodneighborpharmacy.com. Good Neighbor Pharmacy, the best medicine for your health.
Franklin D. Roosevelt's face is documented on dimes due to his dedication to the March of Dimes and its battle against polio, the disease that crippled him.
For many, the question of when to take Social Security comes down to doing the math, but the equation changes for each person. Jim Lineweaver is here to add up some possible answers. Jim is a certified financial planner with the Lineweaver Financial Group. Welcome again.
Thanks for having me.
So when we're considering retirement and Social Security benefits, what are the factors we should take a look at?
You want to take a look at, obviously, your age, your health, too, because depending on longevity with the family and your own health, you want to make sure you collect as much as you can. You got to deal with inflation and how things are being handled that way. So it's a lot of different things that you want to bring into the mix to make sure you're qualifying and collecting the right benefits.
Okay, so when can we start taking Social Security, and when should we start taking Social Security?
Well, if you were born,
difference, right?
There is, yes, big difference, and this is where some good planning comes in. Because if you were born between 1943 and 1954, you can start collecting at age 62, but you're going to get a reduction in benefits, and that's a 75% reduction compared to if you stayed till age 66, when you'd be your full Social Security retirement age. So you got to be careful depending on when you were born and what you want to start collecting.
Okay, can you get a bonus if you work on past your retirement age?
You can. What happens is if you continue working and not collecting for every year you suspend after age 66, in this example, you get an 8% increase until you hit age 70. So it can go up.
Okay, so we should all wait as long as possible, right?
Not always, yeah. This is where you got to be careful, because sometimes there can be anywhere from an 8 to like a 14-year break-even point of when you should collect versus when you should suspend the benefits. So there really is a lot of factors. We talked about health care. We talked about, there's some income tax rules to deal with depending on how much you're making from your work, because you may take $2 in, but you may have to give $1 back. So a lot of factors as far as when you should start collecting.
A lot of things go into that. So we're going to talk about what some of the options are, right?
Yeah. Now, if you're single, that's it. You really don't have any options. However, if you're married, there's some great options and strategies that a lot of people are not aware of. And one of them, let's say that you were working, okay, so let's say the gentleman was the breadwinner, for example. What ends up happening is the spouse stayed at home, raised the kids, wasn't in the workforce. She will normally have to wait to collect Social Security until the husband or the breadwinner actually files for Social Security, and a lot of times he'll file at full Social Security retirement age.
Right.
So let's say that, for instance, he actually starts, hits full Social Security normal retirement age, and let's say his benefit would have been $2,000 a month. Well, what ends up happening is the spouse could trigger benefits if they reach full Social Security retirement age, and she would collect $1,000 a month. If she waits and starts at the full Social Security, she gets $1,000. If she collects at 62, she gets a reduction down to $750.
Okay.
But the key here is that the actual husband can file for spousal benefits and have the wife start collecting, but he can suspend all his benefits. So it'll still continue to grow, and maybe at age 70, then he can have a much higher benefit than if he started at 66.
Okay, well, how about if it's a two-career family.
Yeah, this is where it really gets interesting, because let's say you have both people working now, and let's say your wife actually would normally get $1,600 a month at age 66. If she was to take it early, get it at 62. But what happens here is if the husband is at full Social Security retirement age, he can file for benefits, okay, based on his wife's spousal benefits. So he would collect half of hers, or in other words, $800 a month. He can totally suspend his and still have that accrue till age 70. So his benefit would go up from $2,000 all the way to $2,640 because he suspended his but started tapping into his wife's early. So you're getting an added benefit and you're not restricting your own.
My goodness, there are lots of options, aren't there?
There is. You may as well take it to your advantage, because what ends up happening is otherwise the Social Security can just keep all this money.
We don't want that.
No,
We
you're
paid
entitled
into
to
the
it. You
system.
paid into it. You may as
That's
well get
right.
all you
We
can.
really got to get this. So that sounds like really good advice. So before you decide to take Social Security, be sure to run all the numbers. And if you need help with the formulas, give Jim a call. His number's coming up next.
Find out more by calling the Lineweaver Financial Group at 1-888-313-4009 or visit www.lineweaver.net. Next, Mom's the Word. Looking for places to go, things to do? Welcome to our community calendar. We know there's a Mother's Day and Father's Day, but did you know there's Senior's Day? The Cleveland Department of Aging celebrates an annual Senior Day, and this year it takes place Wednesday, May 16th at the Cleveland Convention Center. The event begins at 10 a.m. with an information fair and ends with a lunch at noon, and it's all free. To learn more, call 216-664-2833 or click to www.cleveland-oh.gov.
We have a great idea for Mother's Day. Tie one on. Now, don't get the wrong idea. In this case, we're talking about tying on beads for a perfect present. Karen Edenfield is here to nail down the steps to a nifty necklace. Karen is an inspiration specialist at Joann Fabric and Craft Stores. Okay, so we got all these cool things here. Let's get going on this thing.
Okay.
What do we do? I see string.
Well, the first thing to do is we're going to make a necklace like this.
Very
and we need a
nice.
selection of beads. And we want a variety. And so we have large and small beads, various shapes. And you want to select beads based on the personality of the person you're giving it to. So we
Right.
have that.
Their favorite colors or what they like to do.
Absolutely.
I mean, it looks like there's all kinds of beads.
Yeah, we have quite a variety. And also a cord. Now, I like to use this leather cord. It's a 1 millimeter cord, so it's a little larger. So you have to be careful and choose beads that have a hole that's large enough. So I went along and with my cord and
Double
selected.
checked. Okay.
And the cord is a 9-foot length piece, so I've cut ours in half. So you have half and I have half.
Okay.
But it would make a
So that is
necklace
actually
like
9
this.
foot.
It's just wrapped around 3 times. So to start, you just start by tying a knot on the end. And about 5 inches from the end is good, or
5
wherever
inches.
you start. I neglected to give the details.
Well, I can't do a good necklace if I don't have the details.
And then just pick a bead, put it on, and then tie a knot on the other end because we want to have it remain in its place. So we're just tying a bead on each side. And this is great. A child can do this, a mother can
I
make
can't
it
get
for
the
their
string
mother.
through my bead. I got to pick one with a bigger hole. I can't even get it through that hole. All right, there we go.
There we go. Now, then, I'll move about 2
fell
inches. Well, I'll show you how to work with that.
Okay,
Let's put
show me how to work with it.
This one has too large. This hole is too
Oh.
large. So first, put a little one on. So
So that'll
start with a little. We'll get it. This
it really
hole
doesn't
is too
seem
large.
that hard. Let
So-
me just try a different bead.
Okay. Well, if you use a
Wait,
hole,
this one's going to work.
one with a hole that's
All right,
this large,
maybe it won't, but you
put a
show
small
me.
one on both sides, and it keeps it from slipping. So anyway, we'll just proceed on with the.
Okay,
this. I
you're
love-
the expert.
I love this leopard print one. So
That is
I'm gonna
really
start
nice. My
about
daughter
2
would like
inches.
that one.
So as you say, if you say your daughter would like it, it could be made for anybody any age.
Leopard
so.
and zebra and things like that.
Yeah, we'll see how successful I am. There we go. And then just put a bead on the other end. Now there are other beads as well. As I'm starting to show you on this, the one that was this slip right off. The hole is way too big. See, the hole is quite generous. So slip on, let me tie a knot.
And it doesn't matter where the knots really are.
No.
It's because it's very random, which
The more
is what
random,
makes
the
it.
more interesting, I think. Slide this small bead on,
Yeah, you're
the
much better at
big
this
bead.
than I am.
and then a small bead again, and that sort of keeps it from slipping. It can't slip over
Oh,
the knot, so
very
it holds
good.
it in place
Yes,
this time.
and it's actually very much more decorative.
It adds a little more interest to it. Then just put another knot in. And then we can use these donut beads. Now, obviously, this would slip right through.
Absolutely.
So an interesting way to do this is just slip it on and then tie it on the side. So we're going to have it sort of hang off the edge, basically. So it would hang
Oh,
like
very
that.
nice.
And then just keep going and just keep adding to it.
It looks like so easy.
Oh, it is.
And I'm sure if I was not standing here trying to do this, I would have no trouble whatsoever.
No, it would be fine. And I do recommend putting a towel down. I put a piece of felt down to keep the beads from rolling around the counter or tabletop.
very good
because otherwise
idea.
they'd be scattered everywhere.
Absolutely.
And then to finish it off, just tie, assuming you have all the beads on it.
Right.
Tie them together and put it around, and you can.
It's so nice. And I love it on the pink with the black. You can really be a fashion statement.
really shows up. But this is with 3 loops around. You can do 2, which would hang a little longer, or a short one, sort of more of a choker, 4 times around. So you can do anything with it. And
All right.
it looks great with any outfit.
You can do anything with it, maybe not.
You can do.
No, but I'm sure that
It'll work.
I actually wouldn't string you along. If this craft enough is easy enough for me, which I'm sure I could get it off the air, anybody can do it. So for directions and more great crafting ideas, use the information that's coming up next. My thanks to Karen Edenfield for showing us what not to do.
For more crafty ideas, call Joanne Fabric and Craft Stores at 1-888-739-4120 or click to www.joanne.com. Next, forging ahead in the fight against breast cancer.
It's time to get up and go. An exercise minute on golden opportunities.
Hello everybody, I'm Mike Carbon from Breakout Fitness, and today we're going to do an overhead extension. All right, we got our dumbbells. You ready to go?
Ready to go.
All right, the starting positions with our arms straight in the air. We want our elbow next to our ear. And what we're going to do is slowly drop it down behind your head to about a 90-degree angle, and then right back up. Always use slow and controlled movements, straight up and straight down. Great, good job. Always remember, 16-ounce can equals 1 pound of weight if you don't have the dumbbells at home. All right, everybody, now it's your turn to get up and go.
For your copy of the exercise booklet, please send $1 for postage to Golden Opportunities, 23240 Chagrin Boulevard, Suite 450, Beechwood, Ohio, 44122.
You may have heard the startling statistic that 1 in 8 women will have breast cancer in their lifetime. But here's another vital piece of information. Those over the age of 55 are at the most significant risk for breast cancer. Dr. Natalie Joseph is here to share what we can do in our personal fight against breast cancer. Dr. Joseph is a surgical oncologist with Metro Health. Welcome to the show, talking about this very important topic. Now, as we said here in the introduction, and you told me, age plays a big role in the risk. As age increases, the risk increases. So what other factors are there that add to or could cause the development of breast cancer?
Well, there are many factors. Age, as you said, and being female, probably the 2 biggest ones. But there other factors include things such as your family history. For example, if you have a first-degree relative, which is a sister or mother with breast cancer, that can actually double your risk for developing breast cancer. Also, women who've had a prior history of breast cancer themselves that also increases their risk. And then things such as the age that you start your menstrual period, the age that you undergo menopause, use of oral contraceptives, or whether you've had long-term use of hormone replacement therapy. All of those particular things actually speak to having long periods of estrogen stimulation, and that's felt to be certainly an increased risk. And then things such as obesity as well.
Okay, so many people think if their family doesn't have it, they're okay, but that's not the case. So is there anything we can do to increase our chances of not getting breast cancer?
Well, there are some things. I mean, as you said, in fact, most breast cancers are completely sporadic, and 85% of women who get them have no history. But the things that we can do that actually are in our control are things such as really speak more to a healthy lifestyle. Exercise, maintaining a healthy weight, trying to minimize alcohol intake, not smoking, minimizing hormone or exogenous hormone use, and then exercise. And there have been many studies have also linked vitamin D to having appropriate levels of vitamin D to decreasing your risk as well.
Okay. So it seems like almost like for any health thing, it's eat right, exercise, all those things that always come up. We also hear about monthly self-examinations for breast cancer. So is that real important?
It is. It's not as sensitive as some of the actual tests that we do, but I think that certainly women benefit from being in tune with their own bodies and understanding what their breasts feel like, so that if there is a difference, that they can be they can detect it relatively early.
Okay. And how about the annual test everyone has to go through after a particular age, that
That's
mammogram?
Right. Yeah, so the recommendation through the American Cancer Society is that women over the age of 40 should have an annual mammogram. It is one of the best ways that we can minimize your risk for, not necessarily your risk of developing breast cancer, but help to improve your survival from breast cancer if you do get it, is early detection. So that's really the key, in that with increased screening and awareness of screening, we're able to detect most of the breast cancers much more early now, so people have a much better outcome.
Okay. And if it does turn out that, heaven forbid, you have breast cancer, is a mastectomy the only option?
Not at all. In fact, these days, most women, especially if we detect breast cancer at an early stage, are candidates for what we call breast-conserving surgery, where we just do a lumpectomy. We remove the cancer and with a margin of normal tissue around it, and also evaluate lymph nodes, and that may be followed by radiation therapy, or in some cases other therapies such as chemotherapy. But mastectomy is reserved mostly for women who have either more extensive disease, someone who chooses to have a mastectomy, or for certain women who fall into a significant high-risk category where we would recommend it.
Okay, and you try not to have to go to that extent, I would think.
Yes, absolutely.
Is the chemotherapy and the radiation a lot more effective these days than it used to be?
Yeah, I think definitely with so much of the research that's been done in breast cancer, I think overall our understanding of the biology of it has improved so much that many of the treatments have improved. They're more targeted towards the specific nuances of that patient's case. And so I think that what we've seen over the last several decades is treatments that are much less aggressive but much more effective, actually.
And that's always good news.
Yep.
All right, so we are making great strides against breast cancer, but we need to be on the first line of defense with self-exams and annual mammograms. To learn more and to attend a pep talk on this topic, use the information that's coming up next. My thanks to Dr. Joseph for joining us here today.
Thank you.
To learn more about breast health, join Dr. Joseph at a free Metro Health pep talk on Monday, May 7th at 6 p.m. at the Marriott Hotel at the Cleveland Airport. To register, call 216-778-1220 or log on to www.metrohealth.org/peptalks. Next, little-known special benefits to help you remain independent at home.
Hi, I'm Trapper Jack at Nelson Vein Clinic, where varicose veins just fade away. Barbara is here. How long ago since the procedure?
3 weeks.
What did you notice right away after Nelson
It's
Vein
all
Clinic?
gone.
Pressure was gone?
Oh, it was all, yes.
Pain's gone?
Yes.
And it's covered by insurance.
That is one thing that got me here. That was a big relief. She's very good at what she does. She's terrific. You can hug her like I did.
Isn't it time you took care of your varicose veins? Call or log on to nelsonvein.com.
Did you miss a phone number or website? Then here's your second chance, because we're going to list all of that information again. Then we'll be back to tell you about a bevy of benefits that may benefit you. Unless you've been living in a cave, you've heard of Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. But there's a fourth program that's equally important, yet almost nobody knows about it. That is until my partner, Mike Solomon, tells us all about it today.
Hi, Lori.
All right, so welcome. What is this important program no one knows about?
Well, it's a program called the Older Americans Act, and it's designed to help older Americans be more independent by providing certain social programs, community service programs for them.
Is it brand new?
No, it's been around since 1965, so it's been around a while.
My goodness. Well, nobody knows about it. So how can this Older Americans Act help our viewers?
Well, there are all sorts of benefits you can get from the program. I'm going to list you some of them. For example, number one, if you find it hard to get out for meals, they can provide you with meals at your home. Or number two, let's say you want to go out and have meals with someone else, you can you can have them provide you meals during the weekday at a senior center or community center, senior apartments, and sometimes they'll even provide transportation. Number three, if to help you keep your body and your mind healthy, they provide health screenings and health counseling and health education, and that could be a great benefit. Next, a lawyer. If you need a lawyer, they can provide you a lawyer sometimes for, let's say, a foreclosure action, or you have a landlord-tenant dispute, or some matters with maybe health cost billing. So they can provide you help there. And then another benefit, if you need, you're at home and you need some help with maybe errands or house cleaning chores, they can help provide you some services there. So it's a variety of programs available.
A wide range of programs. So how do you become eligible for these services?
Well, once you're 60, basically you're eligible, and there's no income limit. However, for higher income people, there may be a cost sharing to the program.
Okay, but even at a small cost, man, having these kinds of items taken care of for you is fantastic.
That's right. That's right.
So how can our viewers find out more about all of these benefits in this program?
Well, we're going to put a number on the screen. You can contact the local area agency on aging, and the number at the Western Reserve Area Agency is 216-621-8010. Give them a call and ask them how you can use the Older Americans Act. They'll be helpful for you.
That's fantastic advice. So, the Older Americans Act provides very valuable benefits. Don't miss out. As Mike said, for help, contact the Area Agency on Aging.
Call Budish, Solomon, Steiner, and Peck at 1-888-236-5173 for more information or to schedule a speaker for your organization. Or log on to www.budishandsolomon.com.
Thanks for joining us. Next week, from the recovery room to rehabilitation, we'll meet a woman who made this trip very successfully. We'll share winning ways to make moms smile. Then, we'll celebrate a hospital's historic anniversary. Plus, we'll examine how to avoid making a bad back even worse. So, until next week, please remember to make the most of your golden opportunities.
Would you like to join our kitchen conversation? All you have to do is call toll-free 1-877-765-1543 and leave us your question, name, and phone number. Or log on to www.golden.tv for all the latest information and show updates.